Shadow here, Shadow Shoot Shot on the Shadow Nose Network. You got the Shadow, you got Mr. Storm. Man, we're going to jump right into it and just let you know it's like we are here. We got a format that is really tightened up, and I'm just going to say it to you one time. Ain't no kayfabe on this show right here. We about to really bring it to you. We're gonna tell it to you just like it is. We're gonna give it to you the way you liked it on Squared Circle Talk on professional wrestling. So let's jump into the subject for this week, for this episode, and that is WWE Bad Blood. Oh my goodness, Bad Blood. All I can say to you, wrestling fans, is that I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning watching the show, and I was just wondering to myself. I said, "Well, should I watch it? Should I watch it? Well, maybe I should watch it. Maybe I should see what's going on." And I will tell you this: I was not disappointed. And there's a spectrum of differences between the two shows and stuff. And I just got to tell Mr. Storm that look, it opened up with CM Punk versus
Yep.
Drew McIntyre, and I will say this: here's the difference. I got to say it right off the bat, so I'm very clear. This is the difference between AEW and WWE. There were no stable guns. There were no needles of injection. There were no things that took it to. There were no cinder blocks. This is like in the ring, take it to the next level, and show you what Bad Blood is really about, and show you how to do an extreme match. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, and look, I've said a lot of things about CM Punk throughout the years. Yeah, this was his third match since he's been back,
Yeah.
and he brought it. I'm not even gonna lie. Like this guy put his body on the line. Drew McIntyre put his body on the line. And at
Yeah.
one point I thought like, okay, Drew McIntyre is gonna be out for like the next 12 months because his back. And I'm just saying on a level of like storytelling, going extreme, the moments where there was a necessity for blood and why it made sense for there to be blood, like
Hmm.
just the execution of it as well. And this is the difference between what WWE does and what AEW does. It
Yeah.
is they put their lives on the line, but they protected each other. And then the brutality of it was still protecting the other. It was a wrench that, let me hold something. A wrench that, if this was the wrench and I turn it over and these are the forks, I'm holding it here. And when I hit you, I'm hitting you like this. I'm not hitting you like this, so the forks will hit you in your face
Yeah.
or take your eye out. But I'm doing it where I'm protecting my partner. And that's the key difference between WWE and AEW. This match was extreme. This match scared the shit out of me. But at the same time, I saw where these guys made sure that they protected each other. And whether it's real beef or legitimate beef or it's just a work, at the end of the day, these guys made sure that they walked out the ring each other, take it one by one on their own. CM Punk even took a knock at MJF where they gave him oxygen at the end of the match. And I said, wow, okay, yeah, I think he was sending a little message there, to AEW, which was kind of cool, kind of funny and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But at Drew McIntyre, at a point where he got the bag and you thought the bag was going to be thumbtacks or glass, like AEW uses glass,
Hmm.
ridiculousness. It was the beads from the bracelets, which was good storytelling, really knocking CM Punk. But at the same time, CM Punk got his revenge in the match. Probably one of the biggest spots and dangerous spots that I saw in that match was um, the part with the table. When
Yeah.
he did the belly, the back outside the ring onto the table, CM Punk's leg hit the corner. I thought that, wow, he's probably like hurt himself or something. He was okay. I think that was the point where Drew McIntyre hurt his back. So that was very scary, very dangerous.
Yes.
The other part was the broken table leg, where they had used CM Punk used the broken table leg, and he came up on Drew and used the pointing side, which I was like, whoa, hold on, the adrenaline's flowing. He's using pointing, and he came down, and you could see the expression on Drew McIntyre where he's like, yo, fuck, you almost, he could have hit me in my face or whatever, but thank goodness he was safe. And I would say that was probably the most dangerous part of that entire match, where everything else they worked towards protecting each other. And that's all I can say is the difference between what they do and what we saw with Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah.
You know, staple guns, needles, all of that was like, it was a lot. It was too much ridiculousness, setting guys on fire, ridiculousness. There's a
Well,
level extreme.
I think it boiled down to that, look, WWE is not going to put their wrestlers through that kind of scenario anymore, especially at the end of the old regime to now the new regime. They're not trying to get guys hurt. Second thing was CM Punk, for the first time in a very long time, looked like he was at least at the beginning of that match at 100%. He did
Yeah,
not seem like he was lingering with any problems, but I think that I know we've been extremely hard on CM Punk. This was the first time in a long time that he looked like he was legitimately one of the best wrestlers that is walking around on the planet. I haven't seen that from him in, I say, since his old retirement. But he seemed like he was energized and everything. But Drew McIntyre, well, what can you say about that guy, man? He
okay.
is in every possible way and shape or form. This guy's a superstar waiting to happen. And they
Yeah,
proved
well,
it. That match
yeah,
was 32 minutes long, man. They
yeah,
proved that.
yeah. And I would say it's like Drew McIntyre is on the path of becoming a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Hmm.
CM Punk is on a path of
Hmm.
redeeming himself in
Yes.
the ring and outside the ring. And
Hmm.
it's one of those things, and I'll just say this and we can move on to the next one. One of those things to where it's like, here's the difference. Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
I've crossed paths with Shawn Michaels backstage, WWF shows,
Hmm.
and he was an asshole. He was one of
That's
the
what everybody
biggest
says.
jagoffs I've ever met in my entire life, working in wrestling, being involved in wrestling. And to this day, I was just like, yo, this is a guy I never like. I mean, ask RVD, he'll tell you stories about Shawn Michaels. But there's one thing I can say about him. It's like everybody deserves a second chance.
Yes.
Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
from what everyone says now about Sean and how he runs NXT, he's a different man. He got Jesus, he got him some God in him, and now he's a different person. And he's been a different person for many years. But and those are the moments where you could say, okay, a person can redeem themselves and can change the way that they were to the way they are now. And that's where several people have said Shawn Michaels is a different person. I think
Yeah.
Booker T's even said it. And I can say for CM Punk, he's on a path to redeeming himself.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say like 100% that I'm like all in CM Punk. I'm not probably ever going to be a big, huge CM Punk fan. I thought that he's always been a great worker, but
Hmm.
he's taking shortcuts and stuff like that. And he's
Yeah. Hmm.
basically taking the path similar to Shawn Michaels. There's another guy,
Exactly.
Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, where you can take a look at and you can say, yo, Hulk Hogan was this, Hulk Hogan was that. He was all kinds of things. But is he a guy that has taken a path to redeem himself? No. We can go on to that subject on another episode. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I will just give kudos to CM Punk
Yeah.
and,
Hmm.
of course, Drew McIntyre. I've been a fan of since he's returned to WWE. So great match, great opening. Not going to get into all the matches because all the matches weren't great.
Yes.
I
True.
will give props to Bailey and
Nina
Nia
Jax.
Jax. Nia
Hmm.
Jax was
Yeah.
she has this is that moment in a person's career where she's come back. She's gotten in
Hmm.
better shape. She's putting on better matches, and Nia Jax has proven to be a worthy champion. And I give her props for that, and I think it's fantastic. So Tiffany Stratus, I'm not a fan of.
Hmm.
You can say what you want. I think that as far as I'm concerned right now, on what I see from her and
Yeah.
what I've seen from her from NXT to now, it's like they moved her up in the roster. She came from NXT and now on SmackDown. And the only thing I can say about her is that she's a dime a dozen. There's nothing special about her as far as I'm concerned right now. Prove me wrong. Prove me that, like, okay, cool, you have a fan base that's growing, but like, what are you? Who are you? What are you in the ring that really makes you special? What makes you stand out more than others? Why? Because she's got a lot of plastic surgery done and she works out in the gym. That's the only thing that I see that's special about her, which makes her not so special because Diamond doesn't.
Well,
So
here's the
it'll
thing
it'll
with
be yeah.
here's the thing with Nina Jax, and let's just be honest. Do you think the motivation is now that she knows that The Rock is like, up there in the board and everything, that she's going to get her shot? Because it seems like that she knows that she has new life now, because she's going to get opportunities that was not presented to her before. And with the whole Samoan connection that's been going down, like if you look at the whole makeup of the WWE, who is now on the top? Is it the McMahons, or now is it anybody that's in the Rock's lineage? It seems
Well,
like there's a direct change that's happening, man.
well, I think that far as she's concerned is that she saw the doors open for her
Mhm.
opportunity and she maximized on that opportunity. She got in
Absolutely.
shape. She lost a lot of weight.
Yes,
She
she did.
really put in the work in the ring now, and she shows it in the ring because before she was lazy and dangerous. Now
Yes.
she's working better and she's getting better. So kudos to her. That's all I'll say about her. But
Hmm.
because I want to act. Wait, I will say this. Look, LA Knight, fantastic. I think that what they did with LA Knight is fantastic because they're keeping him out there. They're putting his eyes
Yeah.
on him, and I think that's fantastic what they're doing with LA Knight. So that's it. That's all I'll say about him because I want to move
Okay.
on to the main event. It was Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus Solo and
Hmm.
Fatu, the Wolf. Uh, man, the match was whatever, slow pace, drag, so forth and so on. Roman's first match back, so
Yeah.
forth. Cool, fantastic. Let's just get to the end. Let's fast forward to the end. Cody and Roman, they won the match. Fantastic. How? Because Jimmy Uso returned. Jimmy Uso
Yes.
looked fantastic. News and rumors about Jimmy Uso's health and so forth and
Yeah.
so on. It's kind of
True.
like a swerve or whatever and stuff, so that
Hmm.
when we'll get some type of surprise when he returns. I'm glad Jimmy's back. Jimmy looks fantastic. And him pairing up with Roman and them making up was a great storyline moment. It was very emotional, and then Cody standing there with Roman, and then Jimmy, and then getting attacked, and then Jimmy looking at Roman saying, "Hey, look, you want to help him? I'm with you, Oos. Whatever you want to do." And they come in and they help Cody to solidify that Roman has turned face. So
Yeah.
has Jimmy, which is great storytelling. But then the music hits, The Rock shows up,
Hmm.
and like
Which we knew was going to happen.
you
We
know,
knew it was
because
going to
it's
happen.
it's it's October, and when
Yes.
October hits, there's only one thing that's coming, and that is
Yep.
Survivor Series. And this is the beginning of the build for Survivor Series. And there's two things to take away from this. One, The Rock's electricity, his charisma, just standing there, and he does a 1, 2, 3, and then he does this. You're just like, okay, it's
Yeah.
about to go down. And it
Yeah.
leaves the premise of one thing. Cody's storyline is moving on for now. And
Yes.
Cody is all about now going to be Cody and Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. There's a triangle
Hmm.
situation going there where three friends now have to choose sides. When you got two best friends and you have to decide which one out of the two best friends, that's the storyline that's leading towards, I believe, Survivor Series, to where Kevin Owens turns on Cody Rhodes, and then Randy Orton's caught in between, and he's trying to keep them at peace and keep them at bay. And then it's Survivor Series: Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes, and then which side will Randy Orton choose? Whose side will the Viper be on? And I think that that's a good premise for a storyline that leads towards Survivor Series. So it'll be interesting to see if that is the storyline they go with, and
Yeah.
which side Randy Orton ends up on, and then who are the team members for Cody and who are the team members for Kevin Owens. That's one. Then you get to the Bloodline. Man,
Yeah.
that's going to be the biggest freaking match of Survivor Series history, where now it really looks like it's going to be The Rock versus Roman, which
Yep.
leads towards WrestleMania, and it leads the
Hmm.
premise of this. And I think that these are the key elements. The Rock has an opportunity to bring in new talent, pass the torch.
Yeah.
Just as Roman did with Solo. He had Jimmy and Jay, but when they brought in Solo, they put that stardom onto Solo,
Yeah.
which now Solo's
Hmm.
a huge star now. He's a
True.
superstar now.
True.
And then it's like, yeah, of course, we see Fatu. He looks great. He's gonna be an epic star as well. But here's the question mark: who will The Rock bring in, and who will be on The Rock team? I mean, like you got the other cousins that's there, that's laid out, that could be coming in, young stars. I think one of them, I think it's Kilo or something like that. That is like 20 something years old. They can bring him
Yeah.
in. They got the 6'8" cousin brother to the Tangaloas. So it's going to be interesting to see who's brought in. And then, of course, the big question will be, what side will Jay be on? And it should be with Roman and his brothers, of course.
Hmm.
But so, and then will The Rock team up with Solo and his team, or will it just be a divide of all of it and create just two factions of the bloodline? I think that they should create two factions of the bloodline and, see where it goes. Again, I kind of felt like um, this is a great storyline would be that they turn on Solo Sokoa, and
Hmm.
Solo Sokoa is left out, and then his brothers and Roman bring him back to the fold and rescue him. Now it's The Rock versus the Tangaloas, and with the Tangaloas versus them. So it'll be intriguing, really intriguing
Well,
to
I
see
can
what
see
happens.
that. I can see the fractions. I do believe that, like I said again, we're starting to see who's winning that tug of war and WWE behind the stage. And it absolutely seems like The Rock is, and it seems like anybody in his blood lineage is getting their shots because, like, they were background characters and
Yes.
now they're forefront characters. And I think it's extremely good. I think they're all exciting, equally talented. I thought The Rock was, like he always is he's electrifying when he's doing what he does in the ring. When he keeps the Hollywood stuff behind him and he just comes to work to do work, he
Yeah.
looks great. I think with Cody Rhodes, I think we've just gotten to our point where now it's like, look, I think the fans are kind of tiring of Cody a little bit, and they haven't seen him in a long time, it seems like. And Roman's now riding that wave. He took a good amount of time off. He came back at the proper time. But I think that you're right. I think they're pushing Cody out of the way because I just think that, look, we've gotten tired of Cody and some of the stuff. We've seen it. How many times in him, and was he supposed to fight Roman Reigns again? Is it going to be him and the Rock? We've seen this. So they've got to create different scenarios for Cody to keep his popularity at the forefront, because if they don't, it's going to fall off. And, Roman and everyone that's associated with the bloodline, whether it's, again, I think the two fraction thing definitely is something they should do. I thought bloodline was, I would say as a whole, I'm gonna grade it like maybe a B. There was, I think, that the CM Punk Drew McIntyre was the eclipse of the show. That's the thing that made it over the top. But there were some matches. I think the Liv Morgan match with Rhea Ripley, that was okay. It was disqualification.
I
Again, I
didn't.
thought they had some so matches, you know, and then they had one or two really great ones. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a full card of wow, everything I turned. There was a couple of ones where you're like, okay, I can turn on the Dodger game in the middle of this.
Yeah. And I give it almost a B plus because
Yeah.
yeah, those are the opening and the closing.
Hmm.
But when you talk about Damian Priest and him versus Finn Balor and everything, it's like the identity of that group is just done.
Yeah.
They need to change it. They need to shift in another direction.
Hmm.
I really think that at this point and at this stage, Finn Balor needs to bring back the demon. It's like I'm really tired of this. What is it? I don't know, Scottish, Irish, whatever, gangster. It's like, come on, man. I'm not convinced. Wearing the
Yeah.
tennis shoes and the gangster clothes. Done with it. Finn Balor needs to they need to really rethink what they do with Finn Balor moving forward. Damian Priest is great, and I know he has a good fan base, and the Boricua, the Puerto Rican heritage. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think that he's done really well, and what they've done with this guy. Rhea Ripley, kind of getting tired of her.
Yep, yep. She's running
Liv
that course.
Morgan's hotter than
Mhm.
Rhea Ripley, as far as I'm concerned right now. But I
Yeah,
think that this is the time where you now move on. I think that what they're
yeah,
doing with Mysterio, it's time for them to move on. He needs
yeah,
to take it just like LA Knight. They
yeah.
need to keep Mysterio at a level to where it's like he's growing and he's becoming more than what he is. And otherwise he's going to get stagnant and stale. And then when it just comes to Cody, and I'll just say this, Cody Rhodes is at a point where he's getting closer and closer to that point where he was in AEW.
Yeah,
And
he
it's
is.
got bored because this is no longer the day and age and era of face and heel. This
Yeah.
is just popular and not so popular. This is the day and age to where it is your character and your gimmick is what sells and what gets the fans over.
Sure.
And I think that that's one of the things that kept Roman Reigns so current and made him so big to where he is, because it was never then when he transitions to not just being the face and he became that gray area, just like Stone Cold started that
Yeah.
era of the gray area character, and The Rock became that gray area character. It is that The Rock placates to the audience. Oh, you're booing me? Okay, I'll go heel. Oh, you cheer me? Okay, I'm face. I think where we're at with Cody Rhodes is that with the fancy suits and the outfits and everything else like and the old stuff, I think he needs to start hitting that gray area to where he gets more cocky, more arrogant, more still. Hey, still be that. I love the kids, kind of like John Cena, but more
Mhm.
edgier. John Cena was just like say your prayers, your vitamin kind of character with for the
Yeah.
kids to sell
Hmm.
merchandise. John Cena was a
Yeah.
merchandise seller, but
Yes.
Cody Rhodes is an in-ring worker. I mean, like he took that leap off of that turnbuckles, and then he jumped onto the table. Man, big spot, and that's Cody. He'll take risk. So I think he just needs to be more edgier and set into that gray area to where it's like he just becomes more cocky and arrogant. So that way, honestly, I think at the end of the day, if he takes that edgier side to him, not turning heel, just edgier and arrogant, like, okay, Kevin Owens, you know what? If you don't like it, man, just step off. I gave you a shot. You didn't deserve a shot. Just get more arrogant. And I think if you take him that way, the male fans that are already starting to hate him will start to hate him. The kids will still love him, and the girls, probably female fans,
Well,
will
he-
continue to like him.
here's the aspect. I think as much as everyone's up on Cody and everything, Cody's truly one dimensional. And the problem that's killing Cody is that yeah, he wears the suits. I think he enjoys being being the in every possible way the face. I think he enjoys that. I think he
Yeah,
loves that a little too much. And he just he can when came back to WWE, we hadn't seen him in WWE. He had wore out his welcome at AEW, and he comes in, we're refreshed and we're ready to go. And now he's on the point of now he's running out his welcome in the WWE because he is so one dimensional. While you look at CM Punk, it's love him or hate him, he's not one dimensional. He can switch it up on you. He could be the nastiest dude he is, or he would be the greatest hero that you can ever have. So I think that Cody, they somehow got to get him out of the American nightmare kind of thing, and they have to kind of invent him. It's the same way with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is not a one dimensional dude, and you can hate him, you can love him, and you'll always love to see the different flips.
yeah,
Cody,
yeah,
they've got to do something with Cody. They've got to add a different layer to him,
yeah.
and
That is that
we'll
gray
see.
area.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he has it in him.
Yeah, and look,
Because he might
yeah,
just have a 1 or 2 year run at companies and have to jump to the other company.
I honestly, it'll just come to a point in a moment where it is he either transitions or he slides towards the gray area of
Yeah.
face and heel, that
Hmm.
right in between thing, or he continues to stick with, so what do you want to talk about? And people start booing him. And I think that it is that factor and stuff to where he's a smart, he's a generational wrestler. He kind of like The Rock, to where it's like
Yeah,
he accepts it and he rolls with it just like The Rock does or did, or in which was the key element to what made The Rock so good and so great. And I think that
absolutely.
Cody will adapt. I think he will adapt and stuff. So this week has been fun. This episode has been fun. We've got a lot more cool stuff coming up. There's a lot of great things on the Shadow Knows Network. Don't forget to tune into Pixel Plastic and Inks. Don't forget to tune into Toybox Chronicles. And always, like I forgot to say, like and subscribe on the Shadow Knows Network and on the Shadow Shoot Shot. And to all the fans that's tuning in and that's been supporting and that's rediscovered the Shadow, pass the word on, send the links, let people know that the Shadow is here and the Shadow is back, the Shadow has returned, and we're gonna do some really cool stuff. We're gonna talk about some cool stuff coming up. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, and
Yeah.
tune in to the next week, right?
Yeah, and actually too, let's not forget we had some questions that popped up in the comment section that a couple of people wanted you to answer. So in later episodes, tune in for that. We're going to actually we haven't forgot your comments. It's down in a point, but this is the new format to the Shadow Shoot Shot. As usual, the Shadow's always going to be controversial and raw. We're going to get some real stuff out of them, and yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the new rundown. We're going to be not talking about some of your other passions as well. So we got some treats coming in for the next couple of episodes on the Shadow Shoe Shot, man. So hey, as usual, man, it's been a pleasure rolling the show with you, Shadow. Always learn something new, brother.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, until the next episode, for Alex Storm, for the Shadow No Network crew, for Nighthawk, Step Brothers, #1 movie ever made, best movie ever made. And until next time, tune in if you got the guts.